What the fuck is wrong with this nigga? That's your man. That's your man.
Hey, who mans is this? Oh, mans is this?
His name is
Speaking of
Haze.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, gentlemen.
Nice.
That was good. That was a good one. I like how you slid that in. So, everybody tuned in. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. We are keeping this purge of the BS going, man. I got a special Who's Mans for you guys today.
Do it.
Have you tuned into the recent debacle that is the upcoming election for presidency of the United States? Did you see the debates recently?
I saw some of it, but I'd like to say this, and I posted it on some of my social media. You people will sit your grandfather down in front of the damn TV and hope he don't ask you for shit, and you will leave him in there while you go on about your business and go down to the polls and vote for some 80-year-old men to run your young country.
Right.
So, I 100% agree with you on that, Brix, and I have the follow-up question. And we're going to get to the debate clip I have for you, but the follow-up question becomes, if not Joe, who's going to go?
Anyone else?
What I'm saying? But you can't just put anyone else up against Trump. You can't do that either. You know what I'm saying? You lose. It's like a lose-lose kind of thing. So if not him, then who is really the real question? And that's the question they're going to have to answer.
Well, I can't answer that question, honestly, because I don't know who.
I don't know.
You don't know either. And nobody knows.
What I can tell you is that they need to change the age limit on that president's job. That's what needs to happen.
They do. There needs to be there needs to be a stop.
Let me be real. Age ain't nothing but a number. If you swift at 90, then you swift at 90. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not swift at 65, then you're not swift at 65.
No.
It's a job. So you have to be capable of the position.
There's a difference. There's a difference being swift at 90. Because, like, remember, what was the dude? Oh God, You Devil, that old guy who was acting forever into his 90s, comedic actor.
George Burns.
Betty White. She was in her 90s. But she wasn't running a country, though.
See,
you know what I mean? It's not life or death.
We're talking about people who were sharp in their days, but you only saw them in certain doses, and they weren't always working.
Right.
That is, once you cross over 80, that's I need to take a nap for most of this day range.
Right. If you need to open your mouth to concentrate on anything, like, you know what I mean? You're too old.
You're too old for that. Because, I mean, once I feel like when you're looking for something and you end up smelling your top row,
right?
You're too old. Like,
you're too old.
Right. Right over there. I can't see that. What is that?
Right. Well, gentlemen, we have to allow our viewing audience the opportunity, if they haven't already, to see, some of the exchange from Mr. Biden and Mr. Trump in the debates. We have to allow them to see it. It's a short clip. I only could do a minute of it, but you can find plenty of this stuff online right now. So
roll the clip. Felon versus Fossil. Go.
Let's go.
For what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with.
Look at his face.
Look, if you finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare. The fact is that the vast majority, and that's the state should be able to.
It's just a bunch of stuttering for a minute.
Right. You doctor have him decide on. There's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. She was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous.
Somebody get him some pudding in a seat.
All right, look, it was a tough debate. I watched some of it. It felt like, to me, after a while, it felt like somebody was picking on the old guy. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like that feeling like, all right, it's enough.
Right.
It's with all due respect, you age out of things.
That Joker need to be sitting down in Shady Acres right now.
Right now, everything he was saying sounded like the middle of a conversation of him stopping somebody who works in a grocery store and he's trying to find the rice pudding. And that's everything he said. You know what I mean? Everything he says, like you just went into the middle of that conversation. And then I was looking and I was confused between the ketchup and the ketchup. And I was talking about and we beat Medicaid. And we beat Medicaid and the ramen noodles, the Marucan ramen. You know, the Marucan, you know?
And everybody's just tolerating it because he's an older guy. So
he's an old guy. Okay. He comes in here every day. It's all right. He barely pisses on the floor anymore.
But the question remains, is that who you want running the country? I see what you guys are saying. And I have to, here's the thing, and I'm just going to say it, and this is just me saying, anybody that's watching, this is not the opinions of Purge the BS and all of the subjects within. The only way that I can see Democratic Party having a chance right now is to put somebody up that everybody already knows. And the only person that's like that, I hate to say it, is Barack Obama. That's y'all chance.
I don't think he legally can do it.
He can.
He can. He can because he took the terms off. You just can't do shit consecutively. But if you live long enough to do another term, you can.
Oh, Barack don't want that smoke.
He don't want. That's what I'm saying. If he wanted it, he would have already gone to his friend Joe and said, "Joe, let me get this guy for you."
Joe,
you know what I'm saying?
I need you to have a seat in the back. No, way back.
Way back.
And your wife is hot.
And his wife is being so supportive, you know. She's like, Joe, you did all of it. You answered the questions and you looked at the teleprompter. You were so wonderful. But I feel like
Michael, come in.
Put Obama back in there. I hate to say it, but I think the only way that you can really beat Trump is to put somebody else in there that people already have some faith in. That's on the Democratic side.
There's another
the only person that's like that is Obama.
There's another possibility.
Yeah, there's no time for a new guy.
If for some reason, you know what I mean? First of all, switch out Kamala, because Kamala's been missing. You know what I mean? So switch her out.
Oh, she's still there?
I understand that. But switch her out to somebody that's viable. And if they elect him and immediately Article 25 him, unfit him, and then the vice president goes up, that's the only other way it could work. That's the only way. Because here's the thing, you can't put nobody else on the ballot because that shit's already set. You can't just switch nobody out like that.
I don't get it. Why does the president have to run again? Like, why
he doesn't. That's the whole thing. He didn't. And I was saying that in the very beginning of all of this shit. Yo. Like, there's no reason for him to run. Like, the dude is 7,000 years old.
They got, what's her name? Kamala, what is it? They got her in there because they know if he wins, he ain't gonna make it. And that's how they're gonna get their first female president. That's how they're gonna do it.
But that's a horrible plan, though.
It is.
That is waiting on a person to pass away so
exactly what they're
by
doing.
Default. That's stupid. Like right now, they need to be worried about what's happening right now.
He looked like he was waiting for a chicken pot pie that whole damn debate.
Yeah, it was very, to me, it felt, I hate to use a term, but it was kind of sad to watch. It felt tough to watch.
It was sad.
It's like, when somebody's parents age and you see them, they're not, as swift, like when Muhammad Ali was old and he was trembling and stuff. It's just hard to watch. You know what I'm saying?
The whole thing with Joe is that his whole conversation sounds like he's sitting there waiting at the front desk at Cracker Barrel, waiting for his early bird card to be stamped. And he's just waiting for somebody. He's just talking. He's just talking. And it's a non sequitur after non sequitur.
There's got to be dementia going on too.
If nothing else, just lack of sharpness.
If they don't go grab Obama or somebody that I don't already know about, they got to find somebody to bring back some of the lost black voters. And
he
all
might not even make it to the election.
That's what I'm saying. They got to start thinking, proactively and not reactively. If they want to win the election, if they just want to lose it, that's fine. Whatever. I don't know what the agenda is, but
that might be a thing, That might be the nasty option. But you just said, Brix.
You ever watched yourself on camera? Like sometimes people will watch themselves on camera and be like, okay, I need to do this differently. I didn't like how I delivered that.
Yeah.
He's seen himself on camera, so I'm sure he's looking at that like, yo, I'm not as swift as I used to be.
I don't think he's looking at himself on camera. Like, I really don't. I don't think he has the attention span to sit there and do that without taking a nap.
Maybe not.
When that nigga go home, he get in the bed.
Well,
right, yo. I mean, like, come on. They couldn't have shot him up with some B12 or something. Just get
somebody go get Joe. He in the car.
Well, I'll give Joe Biden, some credit for at least getting out there with Trump. He didn't even have to do that because that's not.
He called him. He called him out. He called this debate. Yeah. He was like, "I'll debate you."
Yeah, he
Trump said
that. He tried it. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what.
God can bless a hot mess. Amen.
Amen.
Gods have awakened.
We got that.
Very happy to be here.
Turn
around, ladies, for me, please.
Turn around, ladies, for me, please. So,
I'm good at my job, nigga.
I'm gonna take you out with a very, very powerful quote that should incite your thought process, self-identification, if you're prepared. Now, if you're still watching, make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. That wasn't the quote, but make sure you do it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Don't be fucking around with Pooh Shiesty and them.
And check out the subreddit.
Don't be fucking around with Pooh Shiesty. So I'm going to bring a very powerful quote from one Joseph Biden, okay, in his heyday.
Marukan.
All right, you guys ready? I gotta bring it in.
All right.
You ain't black if you don't vote for Joe Biden.
You're right.
So let me just say
that was the quote
a few years ago. That was the quote. Yes, you ain't black if you don't vote for Joe Biden.
Remember when he said that
to Charlemagne? Now let me say this, gentlemen. Were you black when he said that?
I don't know. I have to go check my calendar.
Because I didn't vote for either candidate in that race, and I'm still black. So the statement was untrue, sir. I am still black. You said I'm not black if I don't vote for Joe Biden. I didn't, and I'm still black. So
I'm just saying, it was a presidential statement, and he said you're not black if you don't vote for Joe Biden. So after this recording, I'll go straight to First National and apply for a loan.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm no longer black. So I'm just saying, look, as far as politics go, the U.S. has its own problems. The next person that we have up is going to inherit problems from administrations ago.
At this
Our government
point,
is
it ain't
weird.
about this motherfucker to get elected. It's about the staff he bring with him.
Exactly, because that's really who's doing the work anyway. The president is more just a face. It's like a face. It's the handlers we got to worry about.
Yeah.
The only thing we got to really be confident in is the Navy and the Air Force, really.
Yeah, pretty much. They protect. And honestly,
speaking
we haven't
of
really
that,
had
the draft. Did you hear about that? They just passed that bill that the boys, what is it, 18 through 26? You got to register for the draft.
But I thought that was already a thing when I got my license.
Selective service thing. Yeah,
selective service.
That's what that is.
It's the same thing.
Well, why would they just recently pass a bill if it's the same thing?
They just want you to think they were doing it. They just changed the name on it. But that was all. If you registered for certain things, like having a license, they asked you about registering for selective service. So if you put that on there, you're part of the draft. You were already part of it.
You already there.
Yeah, they just want you to now think they're doing something different, but most people were already there.
Yeah,
anyway.
well, I'll say this. We spoke about this many episodes back. The recruiters can't get nobody in. Like, these recruiting stations aren't getting anybody. Like, it was down to like 1 or 2 a month. And we talked about, when we was talking about the police don't realize that when you harass somebody just for no reason, and you end up sending them to jail or whatever it is, and they get something on their record, you don't realize that you're ruining their chances of becoming a soldier or, getting a decent job. And so props to all of these police officers who have ruined lives. Now these teenagers can't go into the military and they can't get into the police academy. So you've done a fine job I love police officers.
Right.
Well, gentlemen,
You gotta
we
go,
know
nigga.
I gotta go.
Did
since you already know.
anyone see my Marucan anywhere?
Couple
So
noodles.
before we get out of here, hopefully the Democrats,
Has anyone seen my capoodles?
hopefully the Democrats make the right decisions along the line. Just to let them know, I'm what's known as an Indepublicrat. So you got to earn my vote in any which direction, or I just won't vote. I don't, it is
They
what
call
it is.
it Democrat and Republican. Dem publicans.
Yeah,
Republicans.
Dem publicans.
I've joined the Mind Your Business party.
and we stay partying. You know what I'm
All the
saying?
day. All the time.
So, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean that much, but your vote means something. It's just it doesn't mean as much as you want it to.
Well, my mom said something to me a long time ago that made a whole lot of sense. And she said, because I was like, man, I ain't gonna vote. She was like, if your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be fighting so hard for it.
Wouldn't fight for it. Well, that's the problem. They don't fight for mine. They never come to me. They never talk to me. They never appease to me. So they got to earn my vote. But I do understand what your mom was saying. It's 100%
Well, I know one thing.
Right.
Trump get in there again, yo. That's gonna be the last president we have.
Yeah, you say that, but it'll be the same.
That's not too untrue, man. That's not too untrue, man. You see all these people that's following everything. The dude's a felon, bruh.
But you know what? Let's just put the felon situation to bed. Okay.
Say good night.
Say good night on that. Let's not even do it.
He's
Not even do
allowed.
it.
I know, but dude.
Not even do it. Let's not even do it. Because everybody knows you do not have to have a clean record to be the president. You just have to be over 35 and born in the U.S. And if enough people like you, you could be an asshole. So it is.
This is very true. This too.
But you can't work at Dollar General though, because you got criminal.
Isn't that crazy? That's insane.
I'm out, man. I'm out.
Right,
I'm
easy.
out. I'm done.